The New York Football Giants have finally made the plunge. Jaxson Dart is going to be the starter for the rest of the season. Not only the starter for this coming week, but Russ is to the bench for the rest of the season. Thoughts? Will, I want to ask you first. Is it too soon?
See, this is kind of like the situation. They're really desperate right now. This is what happens when your head coach and GM are basically fighting for their jobs. If it were up to me, I would not be putting Jaxson Dart behind that offensive line. You run a lot of risks. A lot of things could go wrong. You could hurt his confidence. He could get injured, God forbid. It's just not a good look. But I think this is what happens when a head coach is coaching to save his job. He'll do desperate things, and this is it. He's trying to save his role there. And I think that's ultimately what it is. You have Jameis Winston. You can play Jameis Winston. Jaxson Dart, I think, will give a new flash of light. Like, he's obviously got more athleticism than Russell Wilson. The team love him. So the players know, they feel confident, they're happy with this choice. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to throw him out there, because I think when we went over the tape, don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson could have played better. There were a lot of throws he missed, but there was also a lot
it
of
was bad.
It was bad across the board for the whole offense.
So
he was running the wrong routes. Protection wasn't necessarily where it needed to be. He made the right throws, but the receivers ran the wrong routes,
then he made some bad throws. He made some bad throws as well. Awful throws.
Awful throws. I just think right now, it's kind of like the head coach right now is trying to save his job, and the only thing he can do is pick his guy, Jaxson Dart. Now, if this doesn't work out, like if Jaxson Dart comes out, they're still losing games. I reckon if they lose another 3 games with Jaxson Dart under center, or it's underwhelming.
What do you think Jameson comes in?
Fairly lukewarm. No, they've got to stick with Jackson the whole way. You can't go back now.
That's the thing.
I guarantee you, Brian Daboll will be gone by halfway through the season. Like, he's going to be shown the door, because here's the thing. We've seen it in the news. Like, we've seen players that have left the Giants and have gone off to flourish. We've got Daniel Jones, obviously, to your Colts, Saquon to my Eagles, Jair Alexandra. He's playing really well. And it's kind of like you see players leave and they prosper. Like, everyone was looking at the players. They used Daniel Jones as a scapegoat, but now they can't blame anyone else. They can't. It's on them right now.
Malik said it was like everyone. He even said, "I told you it wasn't about DJ. Yeah, it wasn't about Daniel Jones.
Exactly.
There's something other. There's something else that is an issue in this franchise, and going to Jaxson Dart at this point in the season, it's not going to solve that.
It's not.
But Russ did not do anything to keep his starting job.
Absolutely.
So if you're making a change is the correct thing to do. But whether or not which of the quarterbacks you go to, that's where the debate is.
A Giants fan, it's kind of insane, because if Jaxson Dart plays well, you're stuck with Dabo. You're stuck with him. He's not going anywhere. And we all know, he's not, he's being carried. He's going to get carried again. Josh Allen is playing better without him. And he got this job based off Josh Allen, who turns out carried, he should send Josh Allen half his paycheck, because he only got this job because of that. There's a lot, and it's a thing that happens a lot in the NFL. You sometimes get generational talent at the QB position, and you end up with entire coaching staffs, positional group coaches eating off that and getting jobs. Dabo, I think, is one of those guys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those guys that's going to be a great offensive coordinator in this league, but he's definitely not a head coach. A lot like Mike McDaniels over there in Miami. Great offensive mind. He's going to be an amazing offensive coordinator for his next team, but he's not a head coach. I just hope the best for Jackson, or actually, I want him to do well.
You want players to do well, right?
Yeah, I want Jaxson Dart to do well, but then I don't want that I don't want Dabo and Sheen keeping their jobs because of that. Because that means
Why not?
the rot in the organization is not going to go away. All Jackson Dart is going to do is mask the issues of the team through his play. I don't think he's good enough to mask those issues, though. But I think he's going to win a few games. He's going to play well. He's going to provide a spark. There's not a lot of
And
tape on him, which means defensive coordinators are going to find it hard to tee off on him.
now, what I
But
would a lot of so the comments during this game against Chiefs, right, were like I saw a few of these comments where the throws that Russell Wilson was making, Dart can make the exact same throws, right? And we know that Dart is more mobile. They can run more different types of plays because they can run the read option and things like that, stuff that you don't really run with such an aging quarterback like Russ is. So if you look at it from that perspective, there's no hypothetically there's no downside, right, to putting Dart in terms of the end result, because they're losing games at the moment. So if they continue losing, he's learning, and if they start winning, then they're kind of vindicated in their choice, kind of thing. So
yeah,
I can understand some people saying, okay, let's put in Jameis, but
this is the thing.
that's
as an owner, you don't want your head coach making decisions to keep his job. You want
that's the
him to
thing.
make decisions to win football games. As
Yeah.
soon as I knew this was going to happen, if I'm Mara, I supersede this and say, well, no, you're not going to put in the rookie. You're doing this to potentially save your job. You're already gone, in my opinion. I'd be like, I'd let him know you can play Jaxson Dart, but most likely you're not going to have this job at the end of the week, regardless of what happens in this game. You've got a clean house. Like, this is not how you want to
But
run
you
your
don't fire people
organization.
this early in the season. That's the thing. That's
Like
not the
like like
NFL
clean
way.
house for what? Well, I'm gonna debate you a little bit on the Brown Dable thing, right? So sometimes we go look at we need to stop and go back with a little bit of revisionist history. When Brown Dable got to the Giants and then they just had that good season and made the playoffs, what was your thoughts then?
He knew how to use Daniel Jones. And then after they paid
Okay,
him, they had to use him a certain type of way to justify the payment. You couldn't,
okay.
you know what I mean? So,
And
like,
in terms
and
of
it
what,
messed it up. You pay him that money, you now expect him to do certain
but
things.
then
So
they've
now
also
it's time.
failed him because they didn't build an offensive line for
They
him.
didn't build an offensive line. They had opportunities to do that. I think
How
obviously
many
it's
times?
all for the
But that's
GM
not. But that's not on
as
the head
well.
coach.
That's not on
Building
the
an
head
offensive
coach. Yeah,
line is on the GM, right?
the
And
GM Sheen. Yeah,
It's on the
he's
GM.
the
and
coach.
they've
It's not
had
they
so
didn't.
many opportunities to build an offensive line, and they've failed multiple times. Now, I think they've got a
Yes.
half decent defense, right? Now,
Yeah,
like in this game against the Chiefs, they were in it. They just kept
Yeah,
shooting themselves in the
absolutely.
foot as a team because Russ wasn't helping them offensively. Like we saw that with that, and goal, the 4 plays that went basically through the end zone because Russ decided to have complete and utter brain fart. It was. It's
by the
not
time they
just.
figure this out,
It's not
by the
just the
time
QB plays. It's play calling as
Well,
well.
here's the thing. For the offensive line, they have tried. They just haven't selected the right players. So going back to the 2022 NFL draft, they picked Evan Neal to come and play tackle or guard for them. He hasn't panned out. 2023 NFL draft, they took John Michael Schmitz, who was one of the highly regarded centers in the draft, and he's still a work in progress. In the 2024
Mm-hmm.
NFL draft last year, in the 2024 NFL draft, they didn't take an offensive line, but they had already selected 2 offensive line the previous years. Um, and in this past season gone, I'm just trying to check if they did take an offensive line in this year's draft. Um, 1 second. So it's not like they haven't made efforts to
But the thing is that
um
you've got to.
improve upon
It's
the
about your
offensive line.
talent, your talent scouting, and your ability to get the right guys in, kind of thing. If they're continually missing, that's not going to help. So
It's not gonna help because I think organizationally, right? Also, another thing that affected the Giants is the Saquon situation that's landing the Giants where they are now. Because with Saquon, it wasn't a case of ability because Debo knew Saquon's an all-pro running back. It was a case of the owner didn't want to pay him, and that was a very stupid decision by John Mara, deciding, oh, I'm not gonna pay the running back.
Yeah,
Hello, he leaves and goes and win a Super Bowl. But
yeah.
if they had paid Saquon, he'll still be a Giant. It was a matter of not paying him. That's what it was. It wasn't a case
it would
of
still be a giant, but I don't think that would have
talent.
solved any
I
problems.
don't think they would have won it. All I'm saying is that right now, Malik Neighbors is wasting away, and it's horrible to see because I'd go so far as to say, like, if he was on a competent team with a competent quarterback, he could be a top 5 receiver right now. Top 5, by the way. I'm not even joking. Top
Bro,
5. You've got
relax. He
Cameron.
ain't gonna be top 5.
I'm
No,
just
no,
saying, from
he's
a talent perspective,
capable.
he's
That's what he's
capable
saying.
of it. He could be a top 5
He ain't
receiver
gonna
right
be
now.
top
You
5.
know how he feels looking.
He dropped too many passes to be top 5. You guys, I've actually gone and studied Malik Neighbors.
I'm
The
not
thing
saying
is,
that he is, but I'm just
Potential.
saying that's
he,
what
he
he's
he's
saying.
he is
Potential.
volumed. Like he is the only receiver on the roster, and the offense caters to him. So he's targeted at least 11 to 12 times a game. So when he makes 3 drops and he catches 7, it gives him improved numbers. But go watch his game. He drops a lot of passes.
I understand that.
Well,
I'm
in
saying
It's not
this
like
like
game he
compared to
didn't. In
Justin
this game,
Jefferson and
yeah, in this
it's not like
game it
compared
was
to Justin
all.
Jefferson and Jamal Chase. Those guys don't drop passes; they catch passes.
and there are other playmakers, Scatterboo as well, right now, who's doing okay, but he's pretty much a headline. He's a feel-good story. Whether or not he's actually productive as the season goes on, we'll
So
have to wait and see. I
yeah,
think he's
as the
doing
season
really well. He
goes,
had a good game,
he had a good game
61
against.
yards.
No, but he got he he had a good touchdown run, but he also there were times where it looked like he was not going to get any. Like he caught the ball on I think there was one on the screen, and he made so much of it compared to what like the expected yards versus what he actually got were
Yeah,
two different things, and it started well for him. It's just there's a lot to be done in terms of like it needs to continue and he needs to get
yeah.
better. But Jaxson Dart, yeah, he's gonna. It's
Wish him the
going to
best.
be difficult
hard
for him
one.
to start. He's got a very difficult game to start off with. And hey, Giants fans, drop a comment. Please tell me. Please tell us all, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's doomed to fail because this team isn't good enough, or anything else? So we'll catch you very soon.